Tiger Woods didn't just transform golf, he redefined greatness itself. A 15-time major champion, he was a cultural force in cleats, a man whose iconic Sunday red became as recognizable as any logo in sports history. His journey wasn't just about victory, it was about dominance, resilience, and legacy. For decades, Tiger was golf. But while the world focused on his swing, someone else was growing up quietly in the shadows. Not a rival, not just a fan, but his own son, Charlie Woods. With every roar Tiger earned, a different kind of pressure began to build, the weight of being born into a legend. What happens when your last name becomes a spotlight before you've even taken a swing of your own? Charlie didn't ask for the spotlight. It found him before he ever spoke his first words. Before he chose the game had already chosen him. From the earliest images of young Charlie beside his father on the driving range, the headlines weren't about him, they were about Tiger's son. The matching outfits at the PNC Championship, the mirrored swing, the synchronized stride up the fairway. It was viral, it was captivating, but it wasn't fair, because no matter how well Charlie played, the applause didn't always feel like it belonged to him. It echoed from galleries still cheering for his father, and echoes, no matter how loud, can never take the place of your own voice. The public pressure wasn't deafening, but it was always there, quiet, steady, unshakable, and the cameras kept rolling. Analysts began to whisper, could he be next? But within that storm of speculation, something rare and real was forming a team. After Tiger and Charlie's runner-up finish at the PNC Championship, the two shared a quiet hug with Ellen Nordegren, Tiger's ex-wife and Charlie's mother. No entourages, no staged photos, just a family navigating an extraordinary moment with quiet grace. Because before there was competition, there was connection, and that's a foundation no headline can manufacture. Charlie's story didn't begin on a leaderboard, it began in the shadow of greatness. But sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't born under bright lights. They begin just outside the ropes, waiting. This one didn't happen with roaring crowds or national coverage. There were no broadcasters narrating the moment, just warm Florida air, hushed galleries, and the quiet hum of history in the making. It was May 2025. At Streamsong Resort, during the AJGA Team TaylorMade Invitational, Charlie Woods stepped onto the T-ranked 604th in junior golf. Not even a dark horse, just another name on the list. The field was stacked with national champions, top recruits, and future NCAA stars. On paper, Charlie didn't stand out, but leaderboards don't recognize potential. They record performance, and what Charlie delivered wasn't a whisper. It was a statement. 3 rounds later, the golf world took notice. The 15 under par finish, a final round 66 lit by 8 birdies. No lucky breaks, no stumble from the field, just flawless execution under pressure. He didn't win by hanging on, he won by taking over. Charlie beat 4 of the top 5 ranked juniors in the country, including the undisputed number 1, Miles Russell, and Charlie didn't edge out the field, he separated himself. He won by 3 strokes, not through flash, but through precision and poise. What began as quiet confidence had evolved into calculated dominance. The narrative had changed. And this time, Charlie was writing it himself. The headlines came quickly, but they weren't the kind he was used to. This time it wasn't about a viral swing video or a cameo from his dad. Publications like Golf Monthly, Times of India, ESPN, and Golf Digests covered the story. Not because of Tiger, but because of Charlie's game. His command, his control, his finish. For the first time, the world wasn't watching because he was Tiger's son, they were watching because he was that good. And in junior golf, respect isn't handed out, it's taken. Charlie Woods didn't just win a tournament, he changed the conversation. The kid once lingering in the background had stepped into the spotlight. The last name that once carried expectation had now earned its own weight. And for the first time, when people said Woods, they weren't looking to the past, they were looking to the future. Tiger Woods has long been known for control over his swing, his body, his image, his schedule. But when it came to his son, he made a move no one expected. As revealed in a report by S.com, Tiger offered Charlie a piece of advice that echoed far beyond the range. No mirror. Rory, don't watch me, watch Rory. A sentence, a surrender, a shift. Because when the greatest golfer of a generation tells his son to learn from someone else, it's more than advice, it's transformation. Tiger wasn't just stepping aside as a model to imitate, he was dismantling his own myth. So, his son could grow without being trapped inside it. He wasn't saying, be like me. He was saying, be better. On your own terms, and that's what made this moment so powerful. Most parents try to pass on their best parts. Tiger chose to step out of the way, and Rory McIlroy, a friend, a peer, and in Tiger's own words, one of the few golfers worth watching, became the new mirror. One of the purest swings in the game became the blueprint, not because of the father, not because of the icon. In that moment, Tiger Woods revealed his greatest act of leadership, letting go. This wasn't a coaching session. It was something far deeper, a quiet, private permission. You don't need to follow me to find yourself. In a world where celebrity athletes often obsess over building legacies in their own image, Tiger chose a different path. He didn't just want Charlie to succeed, he wanted Charlie to own that success, free from comparison and pressure. That's not control. That's courage. This decision didn't just reshape Charlie's game. It transformed their relationship. No longer just father and prodigy, they became mentor and student. No longer footsteps to follow, but paths running parallel. Because sometimes, the strongest bonds aren't forged through imitation, but through independence. There's a difference between playing well and playing with purpose. A difference between flashes of talent and carrying the weight of expectation like armor. After Streamsong, CharlieWoods didn't walk like someone trying to prove he belonged. He walked like someone who already knew he did. The posture had shifted. The interviews became fewer. The noise no longer mattered because the work was finally speaking for itself. Suddenly, the title Tiger's son began to feel outdated. Charlie wasn't inheriting greatness anymore, he was chasing it, and the numbers proved it. According to the Times of India, his dominant win catapulted him from 64th to 14th in the AJGA rankings, one of the biggest leaps in recent history. He didn't ease into the spotlight, he kicked the door open. That kind of leap doesn't come from hype. It's earned shot by shot, round by round. And with that surge, Charlie became something else entirely. Not the heir, the hunter. The New York Post didn't sugarcoat it. This wasn't survival, it was domination. Charlie didn't ride a lucky hot streak. He didn't benefit from bounces, or barely edge past the competition. He dismantled a field stacked with the best junior golfers in the country. And when it was over, there were no theatrics, no fist pump, no victory dance, just a handshake, a calm walk to the scorer's tent, and silence. The kind of silence that follows something undeniable, because when you've earned the room's respect, you don't need to raise your voice. But perhaps the most telling sign wasn't in the rankings or the headlines. It was in the locker room. The whispers from other juniors stopped. They started watching instead. He wasn't just that Woods kid anymore. He was a real threat, a benchmark, a name circled on pairing sheets. And in golf, respect from your peers. That's the rarest trophy of all. It wasn't a major Sunday. There was no roar from Augusta, no green jacket waiting at the 18th. But at the Florida Amateur Championship, something bigger and quieter was unfolding. Tiger Woods was there to see it, not on crutches, not in a press tent, not giving commentary, just sitting. Just watching. After weeks out of the spotlight, recovering from a torn Achilles, as Golf Monthly reported, Tiger reappeared, not to compete, but to witness. And sometimes, presence speaks louder than performance ever could. Observers noticed. He wasn't coaching. There were no TrackMan readouts, no scribbled notes, no whispered swing tips from behind the rope line. Just Tiger, leaning forward slightly in his cart, arms resting on his knees. Eyes locked on Charlie with a gaze that was anything but casual. According to the New York Post, he didn't say much. He didn't have to. Every shot, every pause, every stride Charlie took, Tiger followed, not with a coach's critique, but with something far more rare, reverence. Then came the moment the world wouldn't forget. Late in the round, Charlie sank a tricky birdie putt on the 18th. No celebration, no fist pump, just a quiet nod. But outside the ropes, the camera caught what mattered most. Tiger Woods, head tilted, sunglasses off, biting the inside of his cheek, a single tear visible beneath his eye. It wasn't about the score. It wasn't about the stakes. It was about witnessing someone you love becoming exactly who they're meant to be. And when legacy watches itself evolve in real time, sometimes emotion is the only language that fits. As the gallery applauded, Tiger stood, not to wave, not to be seen, but because he had to be, because something had just shifted. He hadn't built this moment, he hadn't driven it. He had simply witnessed it, and for a man who spent his life defining greatness, this time, greatness looked back and smiled. At some point, every great story asks the same question. Is this a continuation or a beginning? For Charlie Woods, that moment is now. For years, the world wondered if he would follow in Tiger's footsteps. But maybe we've been asking the wrong question. Because what we're seeing isn't a boy tracing a path, a player carving his own. The fairway ahead isn't Tiger's anymore, it's Charlie's. And the more he walks it, the less it resembles a shadow, and the more it starts to look like a sunrise. Later this year, Charlie will compete in the Junior Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass, one of the most prestigious events in junior golf. It's the same course where Tiger won the Players Championship twice. But this won't be about walking the same ground. It'll be about proving he can shape it. Sawgrass doesn't care about last names. It demands precision, composure, and strategy, and Charlie isn't just bringing hype, he's bringing form. This isn't nostalgia, it's evolution. And suddenly, Tiger's once quoted words land differently. Don't watch me, watch Rory. It wasn't humility, it was vision. Tiger didn't want Charlie to replicate his legacy, he wanted him to outgrow it, to build something freer, lighter, less burdened. not a clone, not a sequel, a new source entirely. Because when the sun stops echoing and starts roaring, that's not lineage, that's transformation. That journey began with questions. Could he handle the pressure? Could he escape the name? Could he matter without the myth? And with each swing, Charlie has answered not loudly, but clearly. He's no longer the kid standing beside Tiger. He's standing on his own.